Hello, and we're in the Khabarovsk today. This is a pretty decent game. 177,000 damage and a whitherer, although only one kill. We are playing with Final Spark. He's a pretty decent player. He can show us how to play the Khabarovsk pretty well. The first thing he does is he rushes into sea, which is usually not advisable because Khabarovsk has pretty bad concealment. I think even some British cruisers have better concealment than the Khabarovsk. But however, sea is dominated by one major island, so being blocked by an island is practically the best concealment you'll ever get. Rushing into sea, hopefully trying to capture it. He's also divisioned up with Azal, which is rather an unusual division mate to have. I guess both of them are complete, fire beasts. They love to set fires. They love to just harass the enemy and stay a bit further back. We can see how this goes. One thing I'd like to say with the Khabarovsk, even with the nerfs that it's been given in the previous updates, it's still a pretty powerful ship. I've got it myself, and whenever I'm having a bad day, I just jump into the Khabarovsk and I just harass and rack up, 80, 100, 150k damage. It's pretty easy. Anyway, so he's in sea. And there was a boat in sea. However, that boat decided to leave sea, which is nice and convenient for him. And he also has an allied DD joining him. Just been detected. Okay, there's the DD that left. It's another Khabarovsk, which is made the better player win. Okay, he got the first shot out, and the other enemy Khabarovsk played a bit better. He's going to hide behind the island, which is a wise decision. Another two enemies, an Otago and a Kurfürst. Not what you want to see. Although secondaries from the Kurfürst and the big 406mm guns can easily penetrate the Khab and completely destroy it. Plus the Otago, again moved behind the island, so he's slightly saved himself a little bit there. So he needs to pull himself back to his allies so he can get some cover. Khabarovsk is quite a fast boat, but it's relatively large, so you want to be using the cover of your allies to not be the primary target. So far, as you can see right here, RNG is favouring him a lot. All those shots are only taken 1.5k or about 2k damage. Here's a Yamato. All he has to do here is just throw some HE on it, start some fires. He's going to do pretty well here. There's not much the Yamato can do because there are much bigger boats where the Yamato is more likely to hit. So it's unlikely he's going to be the primary target for this. We have a cyclone coming in 3 minutes, which is not good when you're in a Khabarovsk because you kind of rely on being a little bit further away from your targets. This kind of favours the brawling battleships like the Kurfürst. Final Spark switches over to AP, which is a fantastic idea. Even with Yamatos, you will be doing a lot of damage, 3k, 2.1k. If you don't know how to use AP in DDs, especially Russian DDs, then you really need to learn because you can do as much, if more damage from AP than you can get in HE. Of course, HE does start fires, and that's practically your bread and butter for the Khabarovsk. But when you do get a broadside on anything, maybe other than DDs, maybe even use it in DDs, but on cruisers and battleships, you need to use AP on broadside because you do so much damage. I've done games where I've done more than 60k damage just with AP in my Khabarovsk, and it's such a good tool to use and good tool to know how to use properly. Anyway, so he's pulled back and he's turned around and his BBs are moving forward, which is always good. So now he's looking for the guys who move behind the islands. He's moving forwards because it's now safe. He's not been spotted by anyone. Probably going to see if he can target that Yamato. It looks like the Yamato is going to go in between the islands next to sea. Not usually a good idea. You don't really want to put your battleship into tight spots like this, especially when there's a lot of DDs around, especially a guy like Final Spark, who's probably going to take full advantage of it. So here we go. Okay, he's already eyeing up the Yamato. It looks like the Yamato is going to go for the island, which is a brave move if he survives. However, the Yamato does need to move into a spot where he can take advantage of the enemy team, because there's no one really moving around inside the islands. It looks like the Allied team is playing a more of a defensive game, allowing the enemy to make decisions. Anyway, so he sets off the torpedoes. As soon as he like that, he is spotted, and he holds back on these torpedoes. Now that's a good move, because when you fire off torpedoes, as you should know, if you're spotted, the torpedoes are spotted too. He's holding off. He pops his smoke, so then he can get a better angle. It looks like the Yamato slowed down, knowing that maybe there's a DD coming through, which is good play from the Yamato. However, he gets off a second lot of torpedoes in at a better angle, where the Yamato takes a while to slow down. Hopefully he can get a hit here. Looks like one of them has already hit the island. You can't see the Yamato, but you know where the Yamato is. It's got a pretty good bearing of where it's supposed to be. And a hit on the Yamato. There we go. Within 7 minutes, we're already at 70k damage. Pretty decent amount of damage you can do here. 2 fires as well. Okay, and now there's some torpedoes coming up from behind him. He has to be aware of these. When you're sitting in smoke, you always attract torpedoes. So he takes a little torpedoes. He's going to move forward a little bit, position himself a little better to avoid the torpedoes. And once again, torpedoes just stop just before, even if he was in the wrong place. So pretty lucky there. So he moves out the smoke. Seeing as he was moving, it's never good to be indecisive. He is spotted by the target behind him, which means he has to move a bit quicker. He needs to take advantage of his speed. So he probably should switch over to AP here. There's a broadside target here. Also, he's taking note of where the Yamato is, because if he moves around the island and gets a decent salvo into him, he is going to be completely mashed. So the Yamato's moving around, and in a second you'll see how brutal AP can be against battleships. Look at this. So, nice broadside here, Yamato, T10, strong shooting in the game, 5k. A few seconds later, again, 5.3k, again, 6k. So this is how powerful AP can be when you're in a DD. Keep on, the Yamato thinks, oh, a big battleship, they can't do anything, but actually you can do a lot of damage with AP. It's something you should definitely learn how to use properly. I mean, you saw right there, he did, like 15, 16, 17k within a few seconds. That's as much as a decent salvo from a battleship. You can only do one of those in every 30 seconds if you've got a decent broadside to get at. Already he's at 117,000 damage, 215 shell hits, and the game isn't even half over yet. The Cyclone has come into play. This is going to limit the Khabarovsk a little bit. However, we have spotted the enemy Khabarovsk, and we're going to fire a few shots into him. But yeah, moving over to B. Looks like B is the place we need to be to take control of the game. The Cyclone has moved in, and there's the DD. It's just gone out of vision. There we go. I need one salvo to clear this guy out, and 3, 2, 1, and he's gone. That's his first kill after 120,000 damage. No kill stealing here. Anyway, so we have 2 ships moving in from the sea cap. We've got an Otago here, which is not good. He's broadside on, he's spotted, and he's firing his torpedoes out. Hopefully those second lot of torpedoes weren't spotted when he fired them. Not in a particularly good position, he's losing a lot of health here, and now he can't even see it. His division mate is now coming in to help him at B, which is useful. He must be communicating somehow. This will give him the backup he needs to neutralise it. There we go, 1 hit on the Otago, and he pops his radar. That means now his whole team on this side is going to have the disadvantage, as they're all spotted with radar, but they can't see him, and our guys don't have radar to spot him with, which is a bit of a shame really, which means that he's going to have to pull back, and our team is just going to have to take this damage and maybe spam out some torps they have. Anyway, we have Montana and a Yamato and B, full control, even with the radar. It looks like the Allies team is going to keep their control of B. Whitherer, 164,000 damage. It's incredible how fast that damage racked up. 50k damage in about 2 minutes, mainly from firing the torpedoes. So now we've got to wait for that smoke to dissipate, essentially, before we can start moving back in to start attacking the enemy. So, Final Spark's team is slowly moving in, and he moves out from the side of the smoke. Okay, Khabarovsk, right, this Khabarovsk seems to have stopped. His engines don't seem to have stopped working. It looks like he wanted to kill himself, I have no idea. Only a few salvos from our team would be able to take him out. It looks like he's going to get the kill. No, someone took that kill from him. Another radar spotting him again. I don't know whether... I don't think the Yamato has the radar. It must be from the final cruiser. Okay, so he's moving just inside of the island to make sure that he's not going to be targeted because he has very low health. He needs to play a slightly more defensive game here. There are only 3 boats on the enemy team, and it looks like that it's a guaranteed win for Final Spark's team. They played pretty well. It looks like the enemy team never really had a chance in this game. However, even with that, it looks like 2 of Final Spark's team has been chasing a Fletcher the whole entire match. Anyway, so the Grosser Curve first is in view, completely outnumbered. It's going to be a pretty easy kill here. Is it going to be a ram, or is it going to be? Is it going to ram? Oh, there we go. It's always nice to see a ram. Now, unfortunately, the rest of this game is slightly anticlimactic. We're just going to essentially watch the the BB and the cruiser just hunt down this DD they've been doing the whole entire match, which is not the thing to do. I mean, pretty good for the enemy team. If that Fletcher's team played a little better, he's essentially taken out 2 players from the entire match. Yet, Final Spark's team was easily able to beat the enemy team. Anyway, so I think I've got it off here. I haven't got the build from Final Spark. This is a replay data from WoW's replays. And I do have the final match statistics, so let's take a look at those. So yeah, victory, pretty decent victory at that. He did 177,000 damage, and he got 8,500 XP and a Witherer, although only 1 kill. He came second on his team, which is surprising. Obviously, the guy who came top in the Yamato, he's a clan guy, so he's going to be pretty decent, probably pulling that team along quite a lot. And yep, so not bad XP. And detailed report, as we can see here, 67,000 fire damage, which is quite a lot. 42 torpedo damage, which actually did more damage than his main battery guns in total if you combine them. He did 29,000 damage with his AP, and per shell damage, that is a lot more than the average shell damage for the high explosives. And Quintus XP, 268,000 XP, pretty decent. That shows you in T10 you can still make a lot of money. You know, it's quite easy in the Khabarovsk especially, because it's still, I would say, not overpowered anymore, but it's definitely a boat that is more powerful than the average. Personally, I would rather go with the Khabarovsk than the gearing. Gearing arcs mean you really have to play quite close up. That means you're playing quite close to the edge, if you know what I'm saying. But I find the Khabarovsk just kind of like a little bully, like a wasp. You go around and you just sting everyone. It's such a good boat. I highly recommend going down the DD line, the Russian DD line, to get the Khabarovsk, because it is a fantastic boat. Anyway, that's all for today. Please just give me some comments and tell me what you think. Thank you.